Stream elements. Student pilot is now live. Final call for flight MKA 1299 boarding now. Streaming Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, Flight Simulator 2024, Learn to Fly, Beginner Pilot Training, Live Q&A.
evening. Good evening, every fellow pilots. How are you today? Welcome to Tuesday Night Live. Question and answers, where I answer any question you guys or girls might have. Right. Today we will be flying from Archer Field yet again and going over our landings, as well as doing landings in the dark. Also answering any questions you might have. We'll just get set up here. Airplane is correct. Alright, we'll start off in the daytime. We'll go over the latest video as well, which is chasing the runway and what that actually means and how we can stop it from happening. So we'll just change it to daytime now, and we'll go do some nighttime runs as well. Alright, everything's ready. Yep. Here we go. Alright, so if you're just tuning in, welcome to Tuesday Night Live. Learn to fly. Live questions and answers. So any questions you possibly have on any aircraft, any situation, I'm here to help you fellow pilots out. So feel free to write in the comments or even the live stream, and we can go through it live. Here we go. Alright, so we're at Archer Field at this stage. Just set my controls up. Double checking everything is working, make sure the brakes are working. Not. The Cessna 172 today, obviously with the glass cockpit. We will explain all the different, I'll go through another video and explain all these other and how to use the glass cockpit properly. At this stage you're probably still using the other style. But pretty much it's exactly the same as the other style. So you got your obviously your how many knots, airspeed we're doing, our altitude, still which way we're facing, and different maps and stuff like that compared to the other one, which is a lot smaller screen. But we'll go through this in detail in another video. Alright, so everything's set up, ready to go, fuel's in, our flaps are up, so we'll bring them down to about 10% just for takeoff. We do have a long runway and we're not heavy, so we technically don't really need any flaps to take off, so that's okay. Alright, we will set the heading bug, so we are facing the heading bug for us straight ahead at 277, so we're at runway 28, so you know how to fly in the circuit. So alright, let's take off. Rotate speed is 55. As you can see, she came off the runway by herself. You just had to minimal effort to actually get it off the runway. So Once we hit about 400 feet and we hit just above 80 knots, so we want to about trim up to about 80 knots for our pitch up. We want to pitch for 80 knots. For our Y speed, the VY. We can take our flaps up now. Now we trim.
Don't sink, don't sink.
Alright, so chasing the runway, what that is exactly. So it's you not being prepared early, saying you're obviously using, so we'll take our first turn now. So chasing the runway, what that is. So obviously you're coming in too high and you're literally nose diving to get to the runway. That is what chasing the runway is. It's basically, it's not because you can't fly or anything like that. It's all because you haven't prepared properly. So we're at our altitude, about 1,000, we'll get up to 1,000 feet. And we'll trim back out. Alright, so now we can make our downwind turn. So we did our crosswind then. So we're coming to downwind. And pretty much, like I said, all that little heading bug that we put in, that little blue one down here, it's just we're putting it into the motion. So here for crosswind, here down the bottom for downwind. They're all little movements. Alright, so we'll trim, we'll pull back the power now a bit. Trim back up so we're not like that. As you can see, our runway is, where is she? Right there, right inside of us. Right, so we're still coming down, so we're slowing down now. Up to about 80 knots on downwind. Hold our nose up a lot more, seeing that we are a lot slower, to still give us enough lift so we don't sink. We're about 80 knots now. We can put in 10% flaps, which will help us glide a bit better. Add a bit more power so we just don't keep just losing power. That's it. Just add a bit more power. We want to do about 80 at this stage. Airport is definitely in our 45-degree mark. We can start turning to base. Here is where we want to slow down to roughly where we are now. About 70 knots we'll go down to. Going down to 70, keeping us pitched up. Alright, 70. Oh, turned a bit too much. Alright, so if you've made a mistake, so just correct it. Back the other way. This stage. Alright, we can start coming down now, add in our 20% flaps, and start slowing down to 60. Now, I'll explain what chasing the runway is. So, at this stage, we are probably going to be too high. So what, instead of correcting with your speed and because your pitch now, when you're coming definitely down to final, your pitch will be controlled by your power setting. Whereas your pitching is to keep that particular, your pitch is control, your pitch or your yoke going, pushing or pulling up, pitching down, will be controlling speed. So, but what chasing the runway actually is Alright, so say for instance we've turned a little too late, which we have. We're coming in. Alright, we're too high, we're coming in. So now what do? You push forward, try and get down lower, which as you can see increases our speed. This is what chasing the runway is. You're there doing big movements, pulling in power. We've got too much power, so we need too much speed. We need to pull the power. Now you got, oh, we're running out of speed, power in. This is what chasing the runway is. You're chasing it. So instead of coming in nice and stable and stuff like that, pushing the yoke forward, and everything's just out of control. Two big movements all the time. Back up to 10%. 10% flaps, that is. And we'll take back off. Now that's what chasing the runway is, compared to where you just normally set it up, everything's ready to go, and all you do is just fly it in and control little movements like this instead of, you know, big movements, trying to correct yourself, going up, going down, trying to correct yourself at all times. So we'll get rid of the flaps. All right, we'll start making our crosswind. Slowing down on about we'll go 2000 RPM at this stage. We want to start getting down to about 80 knots now. Alright, so we're nice and level. Actually, we'll get it back up to 1000, not quite 1000 now. All about controlled, easy movements, just taking your time. So we'll start for our downwind. Alright, we're up to roughly 1000 soon. We're on downwind. Start slowing down to 80 knots. Keeping our nose up. Some more power and we're getting up to about 80. Oh, sneaking up again, so we'll slow down. Come out the aircraft a little bit. When we're at normal speed, our nose would be roughly here. You see you got about 2 fingers between the top of the dash and the horizon. Whereas now, to keep our speed at 80, see how we don't have much. We've only got like maybe a little pinky now. So we're under 80, we're doing 80 now, so we can drop the first 10% of flaps. Now we'll trim to keep 80. So roughly, like I said before, roughly just look at the horizon in front. So we're not going up, or we're not pitching up and pitching down. We want to keep about 80. So if you need a little bit more power, add more power, and then just retrim the aircraft so we're not pitching up or pitching down, and we're doing about 80 knots. Alright, take a look at the runway. Runway is just there, just past our wing. I'm not doing big movements at all. If you take a look, I'm only doing little, little movements. A little bit more power, a little bit less power, just to sneak us back up to where we have to go. This is how you should be doing it. A little bit movements here and there. All right, so we're perfectly at 80, so we can slowly start trimming down a bit, just so our horizon's just visible, so we're not pitching up or... Yep, that's perfect. We're at 1,000, doing about 80 knots. That is perfect. Check where our runway is. Runway is just there. A tiny bit longer. So roughly we want to look at, we'll just pause it here for now. Oh, that's autopilot. And the pause button is pausing. Let me check my, quickly check my settings, if I've got it on the right aircraft. Should have it on the right aircraft. No, we don't. That should be on that. Just love this game when it doesn't work the way you want it to do. And all my controls are gone. What the hell? Oh no, velocity 1, not controller. Oh, 172, everything's done. Cool. That says it's brakes. Yeah, okay. Fair enough. Alright. Alright, so we can now start making our way on to base. Slowing down because we want to start descending. Alright, so run our base now. Alright, we want to start slowing down to 70 knots now. There's a runway and we pass right past it. This is a good time that we need to there's our runway right there. Slow down for 60 knots now. So hold our nose up, just coming down. We're a little bit high at this stage, so we'll aim for the numbers at the end of the runway. Pitch say just over the Alright, so we've got the numbers roughly there. See it coming down. We'll slow down, we'll get the rest of our flaps in now. So we're slowing down now, that's good. Hold our nose up. Alright, trim again, just so our noses hold it up. Alright, about 58. Perfect glide path. We've got 2 red, 2 yellow. Sorry, 2 white. Just keep it nice and smooth. Take your power out, now flare. Oh, that was a bit hard. Probably could have flared a little bit better. But then we weren't chasing. Pretty much we were on the guide path, nice and smooth. Everything was good.